What's up? It's Jacob Soberoff. We've got Border Patrol trolls and baby farms.
I'm Seena John, and Glee's Alex Newell, and some dude named Kermit the Frog is here.
I'm Megan McCain, and this is Take Part Live.
He's got to be ready to go for the show. If he's not in the right spot, how is the show going to actually work?
All right, everybody, welcome to Take Part Live, the anti-news news show. Today, none other than Seena John is here to help us co-host.
Yes! Make that look good.
Thank you. A condition just for you guys.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Nice
Great to be
you
here with you.
Yeah, I wasn't here last time. Megan, because freedom doesn't come free, I have a very special present for you. Don't show my leg.
I brought Iran as well. It's that hairiness.
I appreciate both socks.
I think was that it? I think that was the whole show. All right, guys, tune in tomorrow. On to our first story.
All right. I really enjoyed that. I really did. All right, controversial conservative filmmaker James O'Keefe is at it again. Check out this video where he dons the mask of dead terrorist ringleader Osama bin Laden and crosses from Mexico into the United States.
That seems dangerous. So as you can see in this video, James O'Keefe claims that there was no border security in sight as he crossed into the U.S. from Mexico, even as he was disguised as none other than Osama bin Laden, as you said. But he's taken heat, actually, from both sides of the political spectrum. Eric Bolling from the 5 on Fox News told James O'Keefe to give it a rest. And then Adam Weinstein from Gawker called James O'Keefe desperate. Everybody is sort of shitting on him right now. You know, I think nobody's giving him a fair shake, but he is sort of exposing a security flaw. Is he? Do you guys care about this?
I think the one thing that we could say is that the guy is a terrible person, but I think if you take a kind of a step back and look at what he's actually doing, he is kind of doing what we want citizens to do, engaging the government, letting the government know when there's something wrong, right? So he's going out to a place and he says, look, here's a place where there's a weakness in our border, and he publicized it in a way that I think is attention-mongering and terrible and disgraceful, but at the same time, if more people did that,
Disgraceful?
I think so. I mean, there's a way to do what he did in a much more inclusive and a much more beneficial way for our country.
But to me, this is just sort of like the Michael Moore school of documentarianism. You have to understand that there's an agenda with both filmmakers. He is getting a lot of attention, so I give it up for him to continue to get us talking on news shows. And I agree with you. I think that he's showing us something that could potentially be a loophole, and you're shaking your head at me.
I don't think he's making any valid point, and the reason is because the same thing we talked about yesterday with Vice News being in Syria and Iraq, you have to zoom out and you have to understand what the context is to the story that he's trying to tell. He doesn't tell us how he got to where he was. He didn't show himself walking across the river into Mexico in the first place. You don't know how many roads or highways or whatever he had to cross to walk through the desert for 6 miles, as he said. I think, frankly, he leaves out too much for this to have any validity to it whatsoever. And the truth of the matter is, I just don't care. I really don't care.
Speaking of last night's show, you guys covered the Sketchy app, right? I mean, this is the best use of the Sketchy app that I could ever imagine. Just go to the border and be like, here are things, and that's how you can engage citizenry to actually do something that makes a difference, as opposed to slinging mud at our leadership and saying that they're doing a terrible job and they don't care about it.
You know what I would love to see? I would actually love to see him picked up by Border Patrol for illegally crossing into the United States, go to jail, and then report on it then. After that, see how the real migrant experience is.
Okay, by now all of you recognize the show for the excellence generator that it is, with a user experience that's elegant as it is intuitive. Basically, you yell at us through your phone or computer, and while we're live on air.
That's correct. The producers in the bullpen behind me are standing by, just itching to be pelted with ideas and scoops. The crap they make me read every day about the producers. So talk to them back
itchy.
there.
Give them a scratch.
Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or takepart.com to join the conversation.
And to kick things off today, here's our lighthearted daily debate. Answer our poll on takepart.com. Artificial wombs, you heard me right, WOMBS, are almost a reality. Are we okay with this? Tweet us at TakePartLive. Use the hashtag BabyFarms, or alternatively, from the womb to the tomb. Tell us why this Philip K. Dick future is cool with you or not at all. Megan, tell me what's up.
We'll have the results later on in the show. All right, on to our next news story.
Hillary Clinton isn't shy about flexing her foreign policy muscle as she prepares for a possible 2016 presidential run, but some election watchers argue that the former Secretary of State needs to be careful about turning off war-weary Americans.
Yeah, so here's the rundown. Hillary was recently interviewed about the current state of foreign affairs by The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg. She said Americans should have armed Syrian rebels earlier. She stood strong against Iran's right to enrich uranium and said the United States needed a more comprehensive doctrine for battling global terrorism. Hillary certainly comes off as informed and competent here, but Ezra Klein argues that at Vox.com, Hillary's hawkishness. So is this going to turn off liberal voters? What do you guys think?
Well, you know what? On the flip side, it could draw in more Republican independent voters for people that are on the opposite side. So I see it from that perspective. I think no matter what anybody has to say about Hillary Clinton running for 2016, she's still by far and foremost the front runner. And I think you can say many things about Hillary Clinton. I would never accuse her of being anything other than extremely smart, well-educated, knows everything about foreign policy.
I mean, listen, I don't think that she's inevitable, but I think that she's got a really good shot, and this is why. I think you need more than I think the premise of this article being based around her position about need to be more hawkish is flawed, because you need more than an anti-war narrative, see Howard Dean, to win a presidential primary election. Barack Obama was not just an anti-war candidate, he had a narrative of hope and change that transfixed an entire generation of people and helped him propel to the nomination. Hillary Clinton may lose and may not be inevitable because she screwed up with Terry Gross when she was talking about gay marriage, as Ezra Klein says in the article. As he also says, she's been dodging questions on Keystone XL pipeline. She's bad on income inequality. All these things are things that Ezra Klein pointed out in this piece. And I think those are the reasons why she's not inevitable.
Yeah, you make a great point that it is not just a single issue thing, right? There's a lot else that goes along here. But Ezra Klein is a data guy. That's where his sweet spot is. And this, to me, even as a liberal, this is way too left-leaning for him to go. It just kind of, and I listened to some of the Terry Gross stuff. It really didn't seem like she stumbled that much. Some of these other issues, she was involved in the XL pipeline, right, in Canada, and she was in a diplomatic way. So you can't really comment too much on that. I think there's a lot here.
I mean, I think she could come out and say, we don't need the Keystone XL pipeline. She's got more information than anybody else.
Exactly, that's the problem, I think. I mean, she starts saying something, then there's another question, there's a follow-up question, but I don't think it's a poor strategy to remove yourself from stupid shit, because, you know, this is a thing where she's trying to get us out of a situation where we're reversing the Bush doctrine as opposed to what Obama's been doing now, and she's trying to take a middle of the road as opposed to what Bush and Obama have been doing.
Yeah. All right, to all the liberals out there, heed my warning. All this talk of contraceptives and late marriages might actually be helping the very people you're against, the religious right.
Uh-oh. All right, so Pascal Emmanuel Gobry recently wrote a piece for the magazine This Week, The Week, I should say, arguing that since progressives tend to use contraceptives more than secular people, progressives tend to use contraceptives and marry later on in life, their religious conservative counterparts are going to, quote, keep breeding and eventually inherit the earth. Shout out to the Dugar family, by the way. He cites a survey that showed that people who attended religious services...
They're the Duggars, by the way.
The Duggars. The Dugar... I don't... Who knows? They got way too many kids.
Do you know why I know? Because they supported my father. That's how I know who they are.
All I know is they got a lot of kids. I want to show you guys this graphic one more time. Okay. Take a look at this. The people who attended religious services more than once a month on average had 2.21 kids, while those who didn't only had about 1.69 kids. Here's the thing. If religious people are having more kids than secular people, do progressives really need to be worried? I think this is so strange. In the long run, is this really going to be the downfall of progressives?
I mean, ultimately, if you're talking maybe, 100 years from now, they are procreating at a much faster rate. What made me so depressed about this article is I guess I'm a contraceptive-using progressive, but I'm still voting Republican. I don't know. There's something about it that's like, if you're using birth control or you used a condom, then somehow, you're going against
Is there a presumption, though, that if you have religious parents and you're born into a religious house, that you're all of a sudden also going to be religious? If you ask me, the teens are going to be growing up and they'll be like, well, this religion is not so much fun, and I could be going out and getting turned up all the time and having a good time with my buddies, but no, I have to be a religious person.
Can I tell you something?
But if I'm not worried about Mormon faith.
I'm not worried. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, just like in Mormon faith, they have a lot of children. I think it's part of their faith. They want to have as many children as possible. And I think some religions, you can say that they will more than likely, procreate at a larger rate than the less faithful.
The thing is that I'm not worried about being outnumbered by conservatives as long as I have the right argument on my side. I feel like it doesn't matter how many conservatives there are. I can beat people 2-on-1 in basketball any day of the week, and I'm not worried about it, so I can be conservatives 2-on-1 as well.
As a country, I think we're moderating anyways.
Be conservatives because you play basketball? Are you talking? What
do you know that they call me Threes is Christ on the court?
What the hell does that even? No one knows what that means. Okay, after the break, we've got Baby Farms, and later on in the show, we're talking to the legendary Kermit the Frog. So don't go anywhere.
Cannot wait. I'll play him one-on-one.
Regis.
Jesus Christ, I'm a great 3 points.